Happy New Year, or should I say Happy New You? My name is Phyllis Wyatt Whitley. If you have been spiritually victimized, traumatized, welcome to Spiritology Live, where I bring my #1 best-selling Amazon book to life. Each episode will be a raw, spiritual, metaphysical, holistic space of consciousness for self-healing. As you learn how to break your religious shackles so you can master and manifest your promised land today. Let's go. Hello, everyone. It should be 2023. I am thankful. I am grateful. I am happy. I am healthy in all areas of my life. And I am just looking forward to seeing what God can continue to do in my life as He bless me and I bless everybody. Today, I'm going to bless you with a controversial topic. This topic, I'm going to give a shout out to Patty from Virginia. Every once in a while, I ask for different topics because not that I run out of them because I have my book. This is based on my book. But I'll tell some people around me to go to my book and pull out something because I only can give you a little bit of my book, which really was the dinner. And I said, go in there and then let me pull something else out. And we are going to talk about in the next coming months. A few other Whisper Vibes team members gave me some topics that was very deep and raw. We are going to talk about death. This is going to be something else. So I would ask you, listen to the whole thing, go back and listen to it again, go get someone else to listen to. If you know you are a non-Christian, excellent. If you are a Christian, excellent. If you are non-denominational and you have different religion, excellent. This is the podcast for you. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I call it prophetic viewpoint. I'm going to go ahead and say that I am not here to tell you what to do, but I'm going to give you some wisdom. And let's see if the wisdom hopefully will help you or help a loved one or someone that you know had to deal with death, especially recently in the pandemic. It have been death just have been all over the place. But this particular topic, we're going to go deep. We're going to dive deep into certain subtopics. One of them is funeral. The other one is memorial or gravesite. The next one is basic life after death. We're going to deal with the psychic mediums in the church. Yes, I said deep. Let's start off. This particular topic, I'm going to go straight into funerals. Everybody know about funerals. Everyone know that funeral, if you don't know, is a point, I don't want to laugh, but some people just don't know, and my podcast go all over different countries. When you have a funeral, you are burying someone that have passed on, have died. There's different things that you do at a funeral versus cremation. I know y'all didn't want me to go there, but I'm gonna touch as much sore spots as I can. The traditional funeral, the body remains intact, and is very popular. Also, can be very costly. It starts at $10,000, and I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna give you somewhat around there, at least $10,000 and up. Last I had someone time I had someone who passed, unfortunately it was my mother, literally they just going up and up and up. And it's an area that literally they make very good money. And a lot of people is willing to spend a lot of money because they feel sometimes guilty. And they literally just say, I don't want to lack or pull back on the preparation of the funeral. And the sad part of it is they have these funerals and everybody come and everybody's lined up. Some of the people never even knew the person. Sometimes it's tragedies, accidents that happen to somebody young. And yes, it pulled the schools, the community, and all of them come to the funeral. And sometimes it's like standing room only. And unfortunately, sadly, a lot of people go just to see the person in the casket, just to see the family. If you go in love, that's a whole different story. But it's sad because people have more friends and visitors when they die than they did when they was alive. So think about that. What was my purpose of speaking about that? It's just letting you know that the funeral is a course, it's a whole preparation. The people that are in the business of the undertaker, all the way down to the people who give you the funeral home and everything like that, you have to be very, very careful because it's almost like walking into really, I don't want to say, it's almost like they have become salespeople and they will sell you everything and anything, the highest caskets, the price, whatever. I was fortunate when my mother passed, we had one of the best funeral home parlors in Florida where we were staying. And at that time, we had an option of what it is. They gave us a variety of options. So if you go to a funeral home and they're not giving you options, they just throwing out the top, it's really like they can fest on your guilt or your sorrow. So you want to be careful. I had to say that because somebody needed to hear that. You don't have to send their body away and going dead at the same time. The other thing is the people love this because you are able to bury your loved one, see your loved one, dress them up, get their hair done, and you are able to see once they have the funeral, they take the body over to the grave site that you might have paid for, been paying for years, and they lay their body down. This is where people jump in the casket or whatever. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of sorrow. I'm not ragging on anybody that does that, but I know also it's another side to that where people really act up and then, their loved ones will come and say they really didn't even deal with them when they was living. So sometimes you wonder, is the funeral really a funeral to say goodbye, or is it just another platform that you can show off the preparation? You can show off all the material things as you lay somebody down to rest. And I say that because people get it very confused. Now, there is another way, and it's called cremation. The cremation is something that is beginning to become very popular. Now, I am going to discuss the church. People say, well, what do the church have to do with a lot of this? Most of the time, the church is into traditional funeral, but cremation, it is a known fact that a lot of people, including the church, is against cremation. What is cremation? It's actually you incinerate to ashes the body, and a lot of religious people too. Some religious people they not for that. But isn't it funny? Or should I say, isn't it a coincidence that during a pandemic, excuse me when I said funny, isn't it a coincidence that during the pandemic where they had so many bodies piled up, especially in Italy, that they had to literally cremate? I know here in the United States, I know some people who passed on and of COVID. It was so many bodies that they really had to just say, hey, we got to cremate them and you can still have the funeral. So I would like to ask people, did you feel like the person was killed again? A lot of people feel that you killing them again. Listen, listen. I can't come to you with information unless I give you some solutions, unless I give you the truth. People walk around, we all are guilty, and they say, you don't create the body. What do you think that you're doing to the body? People go crazy over that because they think that that body, you are literally killing it again. The body is going back to dirt. If you don't believe me, go open up a casket and see what's in there. This should help many of y'all when y'all go run into the graveyard and y'all have a ceremony. I have nothing against that. But I'm going to tell you something that maybe your pastor or somebody else didn't tell you, or maybe your mother didn't tell you. They not there. It's almost like when Jesus, when they took his body in the tomb and they looking and looking, and he wasn't even there. He was walking around the earth. You know what? Because he was a spirit. If you are a Christian, and I'm talking about Christian or religion, and you believe and know who you really are, then you shouldn't be so hooked on the body part, the fleshly part, because the flesh is going to die and the flesh is going back to the dirt. Well, Miss P, I just don't want my family member. I just think that just it's just not right. But this is what I'll say to you. Millions of people had to be cremated during the pandemic. Do that mean that that person didn't have a proper funeral or that person went to hell? Do you associate the burning of ashes to hell? Everybody have their hiccups or their belief. I can't erase it, but I can show you the truth of it. Cremation is something that's becoming popular because so many people had to do it. And it's so many people, it's another option for people who don't have the money. Cremation can cost you anywhere from $2,000 or more. You see the difference? I'm not saying, oh, this is a place for you to be really stingy. No, so many people don't have the proper insurance. So if you don't have the proper insurance, even if you do, I don't think there's anything wrong. I actually did a cremation with my mother, and what we did was we had the funeral. A lot of people say, oh, I gotta have the funeral, I gotta have because you want to invite people and the loved ones, and that's their way of saying bye. Well, I did that. I don't think anybody really liked it. I can't speak for everybody, but I know family members was whispering. And some of those family members who whispered, I'm pretty sure they had seen or they will see a day where you might have to do cremation. Because let me tell you something, even in the days of when we go back, and I know y'all don't want me to go back, all the slaves, you can go back to when back in during the Holocaust. Think of all the people that died. Do you Millions of people. Do you believe that they literally had a place? Do you see any of the or tombstones? Do you see any of that out there? No. They just put them in the ground. We are literally walking around with all kind of, you might as well say, the soil that your house is on. You know how many people died and was buried back there? So you see what I'm saying? It may look and appear to be very good to go and put them in what you would call a particular nice place. And then you can go and out of your fear and your belief, go visit them. That's good. But don't knock cremation out the way. Okay. What is cremation? Excuse me. Like I said, it's all about they reduce them to ashes. And during the funeral of my mother, we had the funeral, we dressed her up, she looked beautiful. But after that, we didn't have to go to any burial site. You can go to a burial site. You can go and they do so many things with cremation. They literally now have it where you can put the urns in a vase, jewelry pieces. You can put part of it. You can even throw it in the water. Some people love the ocean, love being near the water, and they throw it in the ocean, lake, pond, all kind of things they do with somebody urns. Or they take a little piece and they put it like, in like a little, somewhere on your book stand or whatever. With that being said, it's so many different ways. It's just something about you just say, okay, I got that person next to me. And some people don't do none of that. One thing about it is you can do away with the funeral itself and just reduce it to they cremate them and they give you the cremation. And then you do what you need to do with it, and you don't have to have a friend, or you can do something. Because think about it, during the pandemic, a lot of people have to go online. They had to have a video. So, given the choice, you choose. I can't choose for you, but I wanted you to know the pros and the cons to it. You know what I'm saying? Cremation is going to save you some money versus the other one. Now, I know what you're asking. Is this really of God? Is a funeral versus cremation, is one hell and one is heaven? I'm going to leave that up to your belief. It's whatever you feel. The thing about cremation, yes, you can go ahead and take the urns and do something. So many things, jewelry, all of that. Where is that, Miss P? Is online. A lot of people want to have a site that you can go to. And when you go to that site, what they don't want to tell you is that they're not there. And okay, I know y'all gonna say, Miss P, that's wrong. That's wrong. Don't be telling me that they not there. And then what's so sad? Let's say if they were there and you sit there and you cry, you do whatever you're doing, and I have nothing against that. And they turn around and start talking back to you. You will run out of that place so fast your head will spin. Okay? Because what I'm saying to you is, when it comes down to the church, they are not spiritual. Or should I say spiritual enough to even deal with the spiritual side? And I covered this in one of my podcasts. So what do that mean? That actually means that they don't want to tell you that we have a body, fleshly body, that when is expire, or if it happened to go prematurely or whatever, it's going to the ground. It's going back to the dirt. But we have a spirit. And if you really understand that you have a spirit, that is the part of you. If you believe in a higher source and a higher power, which I do, that's where your spirit goes to. Your body don't go there. You see it. It goes down there. Open up the casket and the skeletons, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, worms and whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you realize that that person have a spirit, and in that spirit have gone on to another realm, a good heavenly realm. Now, I know also the church talk about one part of the spirit, and that's hell. We're not going to discuss that because technically hell is hell on earth. So you want to preach hell and all of that? Go for it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. But as you preach hell, don't be shocked if everything that goes around you is hell. Okay? So now that you know that it is a spiritual realm and you are a spirit, let's go and see what God has to say. Because I know a lot of y'all go, Miss P, I really don't know. You saying what you have to say. I just don't believe that. Well, let me say this to you. Luke 9:60. You heard me. Luke 9:60. Just to give you the setup of what was going on. First of all, Jesus said unto them, let the dead bury the dead, but go thou and preach the kingdom of God. You heard me. It was someone who wanted to follow God, wanted to follow Jesus. And he was getting ready to follow him, but he said, wait a minute, I got something to do. My father just died. And when you read this, it's kind of cold. It's like, what? Wait a minute. My father just died and you're going to tell me whatever. But let me give you a prophetic preview. Those of you who don't know me, let me go ahead and tell you what's going on with that. He's really saying, don't put all your focus and thoughts on the fleshly things. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? On the body. Because when you preach or teach the kingdom of God, which is really the good news, what you are doing in the truth, what you are doing is you going about the Father business. Well, Jesus always said that. See, the fleshly things or the things to be seen is what the Sadducees and the other religious sectors had literally put all their focus on. That's why when a man named Jesus or a prophet named Jesus came through town, they went crazy because he was breaking all their rituals, he was breaking all their rules, he was breaking all their policies. You understand? Could it be that we are so wrapped up in the funerals because of what we think is God really isn't? Remember, God will use the foolish things, you understand, to confront the wise and vice versa. God is not there, a lot of y'all say. So I don't think God is in cremation. I'm not trying to convince you to do cremation, but I want you to understand your body, your loved one body, excuse me, is not there. Your body will not be there. Well, Miss P, I don't believe in that. This is the way I feel. I feel that I'm gonna have a funeral and I'm gonna spend all the money and blah 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 blah. I want a graveyard because I want to go and visit them. Yes, I understand that, but let's be truthful. When you went to your last family members or loved ones or friends' funeral, all of these people that came, did they really know them? Where was all these people when they needed a friend? And let's look at the family members. I always used to tell my mother, people will come to your grave just to make sure you're there. It is people that love funerals. I know somebody who said they used to wake up and all they did was read the obituary. That's the first call of duty. And I might say, because I have known that person for decades, that their whole life literally was death. I know somebody recently, and I literally had to just not deal with them, block, block, block. Because every time they called me, they wanted to let me know who died. Or if somebody died, it was like they didn't get over it. They couldn't get over it. And then next minute, you know, it's like, okay, I understand you. It took you so many months and then now you got something else. I'm not here to tell you, let me tell you something, how to grieve and how to mourn. You need to mourn in a certain way, like I said, with other things, coaches. You need special people around you that probably is best that they not related to you. I'm not saying death is simple and easy. Yes, you want to give the best to whoever died. The worst death are children and your mother or father. I'm going to say you'll never get over those deaths. But I'm here to tell you that there's other things that you can do. And that is definitely in my book. You can give them memorials. You can literally have celebrations on their birthday instead of being upset if somebody died around the holiday. My mother died around the holidays and we had to postpone everybody coming in, and I said everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and then after that I let everybody come. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, it hurts. You don't, maybe it hurts. It's a possibility because you're trying to pull them back from the grave and you can't. Let's see what God says about death. Proverbs 14:27. The fear of the Lord is the fountain of life, to depart from the snare of death. Death, if you really into the Bible, that's one of the things in Revelation they talk about. Because, yeah, that's one of the keys that's going to be done. If you go into if you know your word, you do understand the Bible, that Adam and Eve was walking in the presence of the Lord. And once they went to the earth, death is there. If you understand that Job lost all of his, God let all of them go, all his children. He and how should I say, the devil had to have permission. If you know the book of Job, and God said, yeah, because he at the end of the day he ain't gonna curse me. But do you really know that Job took it like everybody else very hard and stuff? Yeah, I know the story. Even his friend was trying to get him to curse God. But all of that, God was listening to everything. Out of all of that, at the end of the day, he lost all his kids. He lost everything. At the end of the day, God gave him back double. Did the church or your pastor tell you why? Because technically, God didn't shed a tear. You know why? Because we don't die. And when you get the hope to that particular truth that I just gave you, spirit does not die. So therefore, yes, you have lost your loved ones to this realm. You understand? To this realm. Well, Miss P, I am going to tell you right now, you sound like, Madam Zeal or Zehu psychic. Oh, well, really? Well, maybe we need to visit the psychic community and the church community. Let's visit that. Okay? So that way you will understand especially if you view a particular religion, that there is a spiritual side and it's a fleshly side. And that spiritual side is where you get your powers. And I'm going to tell you more about that in the next episode. I know you say, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Well, I'll go ahead and just end it with this. See, God is trying to tell you that he is life. So that fear he's talking about, you shouldn't have it for death. Everybody fear death. I mean, I'm human. My flesh fears it. But he's saying, take that fear and put it where it's supposed to be. And that's him. Fear him enough that you say, wait a minute. No one, nobody, no thing, nothing is higher than my Father God. He is in control with everything. Do you understand what I'm saying? And guess what? He's a spirit. He's a spirit. And I'm going to talk about that later. Because if you was made in his image, then you have a spirit too. Thank you. That was deep. Oh my God. I know some of you probably have your own opinions and your belief. I am not here to change your belief. If you want to go and walk over to the grave, if you want to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, go ahead. But they are not there. I am so sorry. And I'm going to teach you in the next episode, how do you embrace the so-called dead? I'm not telling you to let the memories go. I'm telling you how to embrace it by understanding that you are a spirit, you have a spirit, and any of your loved ones or friends or even your enemies die, they are spirits in another realm. Their flesh have been put to waste. Thank you for coming to my space. You know what I want you to do? Just like last year, I want you to go ahead and I want you to tell someone. I want you to bring them over because I don't know who you know. And please don't miss the opportunity of getting my book, Spiritology. It's on Amazon. It's going to be in other places shortly this year. And one of the things you want to do is when you get it, I do have a small section about death. Okay, well, what's new? Well, what's new is my last book called Wordology. And that particular book is about sticks and stones might break your bones, but words will harm you. Excellent book, very detailed, but short. I feel you can say what you have to say and you don't have to have a novel unless you're going to make a movie. With that being said, of course, we're going to love Ask Jalen because we need this to get out to all the communities to stop bullying and befriend everyone. Well, remember something. If loving self is right, you don't want to be wrong out.